Hello, everybody. Welcome into the Rhapsody studio for another episode of our Rhapspired video series. We are very excited today because we have an opportunity that just kind of fell in our laps to bring one of our own back in for a meeting. Those of you that are watching this might in fact recognize Mr. Marius Britt. Marius, thank you for being with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you bet. When we talk about the journey we're trying to be on with these video series and trying to get in front of people with the concept of inspiration through music and why we're all teaching and why we do these things, Marius kind of epitomizes the person that we're do this for. And he's going to talk through his story a little bit. And I just found out today, he actually started taking lessons when he was 5 years old in this current building we're in. Which used to be called Protege Music. So he's really been affiliated with the Rhapsody entity or music and anthem as long or longer than almost anybody that's been associated with this business. So that to me is a trippy story. So we usually start this conversation off with a simple question.
All right.
How did you get inspired to play music? What started it off for you?
Oh, that's a good question. It was so long ago.
I know, you're so old.
Yeah. I don't know. My parents have always been really just supportive of me doing stuff. Doesn't matter what it is, martial arts, sports, guitar, piano, whatever. So I was just driving around with my dad one day and he said, want to go check out the music store? And I said, I guess so. And walked in. There was a guitar teacher that I met right when I walked in. And so I figured I'd pick up the guitar. And then they decided to give me a guitar, which was really nice of them. And I don't know. It's game over after that.
Right? At that point. But too bad you didn't meet the trumpet instructor. That could have got a whole different direction. No. And you said you were 5.
Yeah,
You're 5. And so that was really kind of a random thing. This wasn't something you'd been really talking to your mom and dad about. They were just, you're at that age, you're like, hey, let's get him involved in a variety of things and have him come in.
As far as I remember, it kind of just was one day it happened and that was what was going on now.
Yeah, and a lot of people will get started. We get a lot of calls, 5 and 6 years old, and we're, I'm a little cautious sometimes because I want to make sure it's got to fit. It's got to be the right thing. Yeah. So I'm guessing for you, somehow it fit.
Yeah. It fit.
How quickly did it? You're talking about you know now what it takes to play and develop, and there's practice, there's time, there's hours. 10,000 hours to mastery. When you first got that guitar in your hands, you took those lessons. Was that you went home and that's what you did? Did you practice?
Yeah, that was kind of all I did for like the next 10 years. When I was growing up, we had one really, really awful guitar with one string, and so I kind of noodled around on that a little bit growing up. But then once I got the real guitar, it was 5 times better, just more strings. 6 times better. 6 strings on a guitar?
Yeah.
6 strings. Yeah. Okay. So I'm a guitar player. But yeah, I just started messing around on that and watching videos. YouTube was like a brand new thing when I was that young, so I could look up a bunch of tutorials on there. And my mom always listened to lots of rock music, so I started learning a bunch of rock songs.
Did they get you an amp right away too?
No, it was an acoustic, and I didn't get an electric until like a year or 2 after that. I had to prove myself on acoustic first.
Fair enough. So you started taking lessons here at Protege. Mm-hmm. I know you told me because they closed down a little bit, you were doing some lessons out there, but then you were pretty quickly over at Jansen Music, taking lessons from Ray.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Ray was my 3rd music teacher. I started taking lessons with him. I was getting better on my own, but I was like, I hit a ceiling where it was just like, I don't know what I don't know right now. And I don't know, like, there's scales out there. I know they're out there. I just don't know what they are. And I don't know how to start with those. So I started taking lessons with Ray, and he kind of opened the door to improvisation and writing different chord progressions and how to mix chords together and then solo over the chords. And he changed a lot for me.
Yeah, we going through this whole last period of the COVID thing, a lot of people have started relying not just on virtual lessons themselves, but even like you type, like the tutorials. I got 3 months with Fender, I got this and that and that. And really, you find people, they've got to cycle back around because you got to get somebody that's actually talking to you, right? And finding a way to get you to understand and inspire your journey type of thing. You can only do so much modules and online and stuff like that. So you're doing that now. You play a bunch of instruments now. Did most of that come about kind of even after, or were you starting to play? Because you play some bass. Actually, played pretty good bass.
Yeah,
I was hearing you play yesterday. I was like, dude plays pretty well. You play your own drum stuff. You play a lot of your own keyboard stuff. So really, when you've been developing stuff, you've done all of that stuff. When did you get into that, the splitting out the instruments, kind of like that?
Yeah, so I actually took about 3-4 weeks of piano lessons at Protege around the same time I started guitar. But I was getting like written homework and like quizzes and stuff, and so I very quickly stopped doing that. But we had a little Yamaha like half-size keyboard that had a bunch of like 300 different sounds on it, and I would scroll through all those, and I marked up all the keys with like different shapes and Sharpie so I could remember which notes sound good together. And so I was kind of teaching myself piano from a young age, and then Ray he kind of picked up on that. He's like, oh, so you play piano too? Let's get you some piano lessons. We'll like switch back and forth. And so we would do one guitar and then one piano lesson and every other week. And then I started doing drums with Mike, not you, Mike, other Mike.
Yeah, you like.
And that was about 13 or 14 maybe. And did that for a while, and then bass kind of came naturally with guitar.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, when you play all those things, there's only left is singing. That's all that's left. So I started singing a little bit. And yeah, I just kind of fell in love with each instrument individually. And so I just obsessed over it for a couple months, and then next is drums, and then piano, and then let's put them all together and see what we can do.
Yeah, and again, that part of it really, that I'm hearing that standpoint of you and music just fit.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just bang. It was there for you. Well, if you were in Sarah's studio, you could have. What did you do yesterday with your students? You did gingerbread house something or other. She would have loved the shapes on the keyboards to make sounds. Yeah, that would have been a great thing. And your journey with Rhapsody just kept going. So you were with Ray. You were taking lessons. You started working for Rhapsody under the Maplethorpes or the Bensons. Still the Maplethorpes, yeah. When Alex and Jonathan were doing, so you started working there in about 2017. You said. Yep. I've got a story that I want to share with you. I don't know what this will mean to you, but so I came on. Pete came on probably shortly after you were there, and then obviously about a year after that, I came on and I took over the management piece. And we didn't have once I came on. Very shortly after I came on, we didn't have many employees. Yeah. One employee gave notice the day before I was going to come on, so he knew something, and the other employee quit fairly quickly afterwards. Also, you stayed. You stayed. I remember very specifically. You were working Saturdays. That was your day to kind of do things, and we were starting to kind of reshape conceptually what was going on. And I tasked you with, hey, I need to do something different with this in the acoustic room. You spent that Saturday. I think you must have sent me 25, 30 pictures that day. And you were, in my mind, you were like stoked. Like, oh, yes, because then you were like totally in it. I remember, and from that moment I was like, okay, Marius hasn't had a chance to really get out and show what he can do in that thing. From that moment on, again, same thing. It just fit. You got it. You got the concepts, and very visually creative and that. And really, that first employee, I mean, if you could have gone south and you've been a different employee when I came on, because that would have been tough. You really helped us transition into that next phase of who we as Rhapsody are.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. I don't know if you remember that at all.
Oh, I remember it. Yeah, I remember sitting on the floor just like, what should I do next? Where does that go? Where does the sticks go? Where do the trumpets go?
Yeah, and it was, and you did a phenomenal job. It was just that again, I think when it comes to that, your ability to be creative has been such a great tool for you in a lot of things, even with what you're doing. What's your degree program? You mentioned a little early to me, but what is it for everybody?
It's electronic production and design. So it's kind of the tech side of music, because I got I got the instruments down and the creative side down. So now it's kind of the computer side. So like recording and producing and like effects pedals and how to build a synthesizer and make it sound good and all that kind of stuff.
Cool. What do you think you're going to do with that eventually? I mean, what would be the ultimate, the once I get done with college, this is what I'm going to do with it?
Yeah, so it's, honestly, I kind of think about it as what am I learning along the way. It's not really about the end goal for me. It's not really about the piece of paper. It's kind of like my weakness is mixing and mastering, and my weakness is like getting the stuff in here onto a computer or tape or whatever and get it sounding professional and ready to go on the radio or Spotify or whatever. And so that's kind of my goal with it, is to learn how to do that all on my own so that I can take the music to the next step and have it sound more professional and have it sound ready to go in shows and CDs and whatever.
So would you like a student with this mindset? This is a crazy good mindset. Holy cow. So Boulder Creek High School grad,
Yeah.
4 years of guitar, at least four years worth of guitar classes, right?
I only actually came in at the last year. I came in.
Oh, you just did the 1 year. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
I came in. Everyone had been there for a bunch of years, and I just kind of came in and annoyed the teacher a bunch because I didn't listen too much. But yeah, I came in at the last year. He'll tell you that more than anyone.
That's funny. Who was teaching it when you were there?
His name is McDermott.
That was McDermott. Yeah. Leah talks about
he's
him
awesome.
a bit.
He was awesome.
I thought you did more time there. More time there.
Well, it was
felt
kinda
like
doing
that, right?
time,
Yeah. And graduated. You went up to NAU for a little bit. I know, obviously, music is again always part of it. You kind of were in the forestry thing, I think, because you dig the outdoors too. But and then the next opportunity for you came, which I remember when you told me that I shared it with everybody. We were so thrilled. I'm going to let you tell the story. So, how did you get from NAU to your next piece of the journey?
Yeah, so I tried NAU because that's what normal people do, is go to school and learn stuff about normal things. And I was like, I'll give it a go. Maybe I'll have a regular career and I'll like it more than music. And I gave that a go for a year, and then COVID happened, 2020, and they started doing online classes. And so it was like 4 or 5 hours a day just sitting in front of a laptop.
Oh,
and so I dropped out within 6 days, I think, of my sophomore year. Gave it a go, didn't work. Called my mom, was like, hey, I'm not gonna do this. She said, okay. And so I dropped out of that, and then took a year off and worked and saved up a bunch. And then I was like, I gotta do something. I can't just keep working. I was working at an outdoor store, so not the most interesting thing in the world, but it was enough to keep me going for a year. I fixed bikes and stuff like that. And then, kind of June, July started rolling around. I was like, okay, everyone's going back to school in person now. I think I got to give this a go again. And I just thought maybe I'll apply to Berklee, see what happens. I don't think I'm going to get in, but what's the worst that could happen? It's $100 to apply, whatever. And got myself roped into an audition over Zoom, and I had to prepare a bunch of stuff. And I was like, oh God, I don't know any theory, so I got to learn a bunch of theory. And then I don't know, a week, 2 went by after I made the decision, and they said, yeah, you can come. And so
you got accepted to the Berklee School of Music.
Yeah, Berklee College of Music. They gave me somehow gave me a little bit of a scholarship too for my guitar playing, which I didn't know was a thing in real life, but I guess it is.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you ever say that to people? Do you ever feel like, well, I got accepted to the Berklee School of Music? That's kind of a big deal.
Yeah, it's a big deal to musicians, but no one else knows what Berklee is. Everyone else is like, oh, California? I'm like, no, not that one.
So, give us a story. What is I'm going to give you two sides of the coin. What is your most outstanding musical memory?
Oof, that's a good one. I think probably, honestly, my time in Boston. Not like a specific moment, but there was a period of, I don't know, probably 2 or 3 months where I was just like really intensely creative and focused on a second album that I just finished up. And I had this little studio room, and it was up on the 5th floor, and it was winter, so I didn't really have to go outside at all if I didn't want to. That was a good excuse to stay inside. And I was just spending, I'd wake up, roll out of bed, immediately put on headphones, and just work all day until I had to eat. And then I would eat, and then I'd go back, and then I had to work out a little bit to not wither away, and then I'd go back. And then 2, 3 a.m. rolled around, time to go to bed, wake up, do the same thing. And I got just so much done, and it all sounded so good. It was like the first time I wrote music that I liked listening to more than other music that I could find. And it was just an obsession for 2-3 months, and it was awesome.
Yeah,
so
totally
great.
Cool. Totally different live stream. I mean, when you have that opportunity and you're doing what you absolutely love to do, life is a whole different ballgame.
Yeah.
It for sure is.
And it's I mean, I wish I could control it more. I wish I could just say I'm going to do that again. But it was just such a good, I don't know, everything aligned.
Yeah.
Such that I could focus and have the creative energy, and the ideas just came, and I was just got good enough to where I could take those ideas and translate them quick enough to get them out before they're gone, and then new ones would come in right afterwards. It was just
that creative. You hear writers talk about kind of being in that mode at times when they're writing. Whoa, the books just comes out. Well, the thing I like about what you said earlier, you were talking about you're in a program, but you're not necessarily thinking of the culmination of that program.
Yeah.
As a young man, again, I think this goes along with what I appreciated about you as an employee, what we've seen about you as a musician. You already seem to get this concept of journey, of that there's this whole thing out there in front of you,
Yeah.
and you just keep wanting to find that there. Other side of the coin. Okay, what's the worst musical story? That one time when you're just like, oh shoot.
Yeah, I mean, that happens all the time, unfortunately. I mean, just because the way my process goes is I'm doing all the recording, the writing, the mixing, the mastering, the production, everything on my music. And so there definitely gets to be a point on like the 7,000th listen of the same part of the same song where I'm just like, this sounds really bad. And I've put like 100 hours into this and I don't like it anymore. And if I don't like it, how is someone else going to like it? And if no one else likes it, then how am I going to make money doing this? If I don't make money, how am I going to eat and keep doing this? And it's just like the thought spiral.
The thoughts, yeah.
Which happens, yeah, it happens unfortunately all too often. But I mean, when you can make one or two people smile in a room because you played them a song and you're like, hey, check this out, I got a new song I want to show you, and you play the song and you're like, wow, that was awesome. That's, I don't know, that reinforces that it's all worth it. And as long as I keep doing it, eventually it'll work.
A lot of the folks we've had in these videos, from a teaching standpoint, we talk. There's some of that language. It's that sense of like that one moment with you, with that one kid, and they get something. Same thing I would imagine with you when you're playing something. And somebody's eyes are like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's got to be that. Oh, I'm so glad you enjoyed what I brought to you.
There's nothing else that, I mean, besides other forms of art, there's really nothing else that you can do and like make something and then show it to someone else and elicit such a strong reaction out of them.
Yeah, I will talk to students a lot. I don't want to put anything out on any of the arts, but I always think of music as one of the. It's just it's living all the time, you know. And acting is probably there's a similar component to that, but for me, the music thing is just something that it's, you know, when you listen to that recording, that's people playing that on a live situation that you're getting to reflect back. So. Well, this has been such a treat, man. Such a treat. Again, Marius Britt, he's an old homeboy here, Rhapsody Music in Anthem, Arizona. Really, again, the journey that we would like to see our students and the music community have around here is really what you have done. It is, you find that niche, music hits, and you keep on it, and you bring passion, you bring joy, you bring inspiration to all the people you interact with. That's what we're trying to help you guys find when we bring you these video series. That's what we here at Rhapsody are all about. So we just want to keep inspiring everybody. Remember, if you have some content you'd like us to talk about or do, make sure you get a hold of us. You can find us at Rhapsody. Our handle is Rhapsody Music AZ, so you can find us on YouTube and Instagram and Facebook. You can email me here at lessons@rhapsodyschoolmusic.com. You can call us 623-465-7060. And keep watching these videos. Make sure you like and smash, do all those wonderful things that the young social media folks know exactly what to do. Hit it really hard. Yeah, we get more content that way. And just help us bring these stories and provide these opportunities so our young musicians and even our old musicians can continue to be inspired and grow. Marius, thanks again so very much. What a treat to have you here. We're going to make sure we get information to you guys as far as how you can link up with Marius through his social media platforms and support this young man in what he's doing and the albums he's putting out and the music he's doing and stuff like that. And I know you'll get a chance to hear a little bit of Marius himself. So again, on behalf of all of us at Rhapsody, thank you to Mr. Marius Britt. You guys have a very, very wonderful afternoon, day, wherever you're at, and we will see you again soon.
So this one is called Perfect Fit, and it's an original that is going to come out in January. my heart and not the eyes. That's when you know. That's when I know it's a perfect fit for me. It's away from under me, and it echoes through the streets. It's a perfect fit for me. Times like these, I don't know the reason why, oh why not, there might be a sense. Wondering as thoughts fly along